The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management.
It's time now for Where You Live with Gene Sullivan, the show that deals with the news and events that affect you the most. Whether you rent or own, live in an HOA, single-family home, or an apartment building, Gene will tackle the issues right where you live. So, from the True North Painting Studios, here is the original man of steel, Resolve himself, who stands for truth, justice, and the association way. Here's Gene Sullivan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan. I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. When you're looking for the right painting contractor, what do you look for? Isn't it someone who will respect you, your time, your property, and your budget? That's what you can expect from True North Painting. Find out more about this exceptional company by going online at truenorthpainting.com. That's trunorthpainting.com, or give them a call at 952-831-1433. I'm also brought to you by the great folks at Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. I want to give a shout out to my trusted board op and producer, Christopher Wider Puberty. How are you, Chris?
Good, Gene. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling invigorated and embraced with this cold weather that we're having.
Yeah.
All right. You said your car battery died on you.
It did. Fortunately, I was here at the station, so I wasn't out in the middle of nowhere. But the battery got a little spoiled, I think, from living in Indiana for so long that it finally gave out here.
The tropic climes of
Yes.
Indiana.
That's right.
Oh, I tell you, I have a dog, a small terrier, and we have got the ritual where I take her out when I get up in the morning. I'm the one that takes her out in the evening before going to bed. And my dog usually is pretty excited about going out for a walk. But when the weather hits below zero, when it's below zero, we put boots, we put a jacket on the dog, and the dog I have to literally drag the dog out through the garage door. She's got her heels dug in. She doesn't want to have any of it at all. So
Long 3 months for the dog, too, as well. Then.
Oh, yes, it is. And so as hard as it is for her to get out there, I mean, she sighs. She looks at me in the morning, and she has this big sigh, like, really? Really, are you going to put me through this? And then after she does her business, then I can't keep up with her till we can get back in the house again. But I hope all of you are staying nice and warm out there. It's great to have you with us here on this segment of Where You Live. We've got a great show for you today, so why don't we begin with property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. If you wish to avail yourself of special pricing you won't find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at 952-224-2663. Our first story for you today comes out of the city of Philadelphia. And we've got an interesting story where the city of Philadelphia, through eminent domain, wants to take away one property owner's property from him. And it is a weird chain of events, to be sure. And so we're honored to have on the show here today the owner of that property, Mr. James Dupre. Hello, James. Thanks for being on the show today.
Well, thank you very much, Gene, for having me.
I first heard about this story about a week ago, and I was amazed about some of the things that you've gone on. This had to deal with. And this has been, probably a little over a year now that you've been dealing with this whole mess of eminent domain in your property?
Actually, it's been longer than that. It first reared its ugly head about 6 years ago. A friend of mine was working in City Hall actually saw the plans for where my property sits. I then went in and tried to find out more information and met with some city officials and actually came to agreement, knowing that they had plans for redevelopment, a supermarket or whatever. But I actually had plans to a handshake to move on, and we made a deal. And unfortunately, the council person at the time dismantled the project, spoke very rudely to me. I then contacted a lawyer. So when the proposal came up in council for eminent domain on my property, it disappeared. Yeah. I thought everything was taken care of. I kept hearing things in the community about something was going to happen on my land, and
then it came back a few years later. Then from that first,
actually a year ago almost.
Okay.
I was filed on December the 27th, 2 days after Christmas. They actually sent a notice out to all the community people where they had blighted the land, filed condemnation on the blighted area properties, condemned the properties, and then seized the deed.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit more for the listeners so they have a little bit more context, too. I want them to know a little bit more about you, too. Now, James, you've had the privilege of being able to pursue your passion as an artist, and you have become quite well known, and your artwork is in quite a few museums in Philadelphia. You have been you have taken this property, and tell our people what it was. This property was that you found, was it 9-10 years ago, and what it is that you've created it into.
Well, it was originally a horse stable, and then for 65 years, it was a car garage. It's actually 8,600 square feet, and with a 22-foot high ceiling with about a 50-foot front. And it was basically condemnable. The roof leaked. There was next to very little plumbing, and the electrical system was really a hazard. So,
what kind of money did you have to put into it to get it back into shape?
I don't know numbers. I know these numbers at the beginning were, the roof at the beginning was $68,000 for the roof, roughly another $38,000 in plumbing, and another $28,000 in contracting out the electrician. And so that was just the beginning. And from that point on, I went about actually, I did almost all the sheetrock and a lot of the carpentry myself over a 5-year period.
All right. So you saw this property. It wasn't worth anything to anybody at that time. It wasn't being used. It was just sitting there. Here, you take it. You're doing something that the city, I would think, would appreciate, and that is someone who is gentrifying the neighborhood. And you had a specific vision or purpose for this property. Tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Well, my goals and objectives from the very beginning when I saw this property, what made it unique, it's one of those old buildings that has the old 12 or 14 by 14 inch oak beams that extend across the building. And they really are in 10 sections of the building, and they run anywhere about 16 to 18 feet in the 50-foot length. So I built 10 spaces in the property, plus it extends, it's actually a city block long. And that's what makes it also very unique, with a loading dock in the back. And so we built 3 living spaces where visiting artists could come and do their work privately. We have classroom spaces. I have 2 private studios with a full wood shop, painting studio, printmaking studio, and our goal was to create classrooms where we held classes, and we did this. We have painting, drawing, printmaking, and I run a summer program where kids come in, and I take up to 12 students, 16 students for the summer in a 12 to 16-week program, and then they have an exhibition with a catalog at my gallery. I also own a gallery for 25 years on the corner of 6th and Bainbridge in South Philadelphia.
Yeah. So here we've got this property that you've taken and you've gentrified for the city, so it's not a blight anymore. You're repurposing it. You're reaching out, mentoring youth. You're making it available to other artists. It's housing your life's work as an artist too, and it seems like to me this is sort of the trifecta of what any city would want to see with a building and seeing it repurposed. But they have some other ideas. But James, we've got to take a break right now. So please hang on, and folks, you hang on too. We'll be back after these messages, and we're going to find out more about what the city of Philadelphia wants to do to this property in taking it away from Mr. James Dupre in Philadelphia. We'll be back with more Where You Live after these messages.